The rumors around the New York Giants selecting Travis Hunter with the third overall pick are officially heating up. And I want to take the pulse of the real ones out there. Do you want Travis Hunter on the Giants? Do you want Joe Schoen to select the Heisman Trophy winner with the third overall pick? If you do, smash that thumbs up icon right now. Travis Hunter might fit our needs more than any other team. That is what one team source told NJ.com about Travis Hunter at the NFL Combine. We're going to break that down on today's show as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we're less than a month away from the NFL Draft. It's officially smokescreen season, but I think this might actually be real. And we've kind of seen Joe Schoen and the Giants maybe tip their hand a little bit on what they're going to do in round one. At the NFL owners meetings earlier this week, Joe Schoen said the Giants were in a position where we can take who we think is the best football player on the board with the number 3 overall selection. There's been a lot of talk about the Giants selected a quarterback, and that might happen, but I think Joe Schoen does not feel the need to reach anymore with the number 3 overall pick because he had Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston sign contracts to join this football team. And maybe he wants to leave with the best player in the class, which in my opinion is Travis Hunter. And if I had to predict it today, I think Travis Hunter will be that pick for the Giants. Ryan Novozinski of NJ.com saying this: the Giants would obviously welcome either prospect, but one team source who spoke with NJ Advanced Media on the condition of staying anonymous at last month's scouting combine raved about Hunter's fit with the team. The quote that he at least shared, I'm sure there was a lot more to the conversation, the team source said he might fit the Giants' needs more than any other team. The source said before gushing about his offensive abilities. An interesting note considering the Giants view him as a corner. And there's been a lot of talk about the Giants looking at Travis Hunter as a corner, and we'll talk about what the Giants should do with him. I thought Brian Dable gave some good quotes at the owners' meetings this week, but I want to make it clear Travis Hunter is the number 1 player in this class. He is the number 1 player on my big board, and I do believe that Travis Hunter would play both ways with the New York Giants. If you're going to go out and you're going to select Travis Hunter, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't try to have him play both ways. He only did it in college football and only got him the Heisman Trophy. I think there's a world where he could be a Pro Bowl, all-pro player on both sides of the football. And at the end of the day, when you talk about Giants got to get a quarterback, Giants got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, you can never go broke by taking the best player in the draft with the number 3 overall pick. Like, I understand you need a quarterback, but if you don't see Shedeur Sanders as a franchise quarterback, you're going to need to find somebody in this class that can affect wins and losses, mainly wins, right away. And I think Travis Hunter, he would do that from day one. He was unreal in college last year. Heisman Trophy winner, Walter Camp Award, AP College Player of the Year, the Chuck Bednarik Award, the Fred Biletnikoff Award, the Lott Trophy, and was a unanimous All-American. In 2023, he was the Paul Hornung Award winner, a consensus All-American. Somehow he was second team All Pac-12. That makes no sense. And then in 2022, he was a SWAC Freshman of the Year and second team All SWAC. You wanted to play defense, he could do that. You wanted to play offense, he could do that as well. I think he is one of the best receiver prospects we have seen in recent memory. I would have had him as the number 3 wide receiver in last year's class, behind Marvin Harrison and behind Malik Neighbors. And I think when you talk about recent wide receiver classes, he would still be at the top of that list. 96 grabs last year for 1,258 yards, 13 yards per catch, 15 touchdowns, and just 3 drops. Oh, and that's while also playing defense. He moves different. He attacks the ball in the air differently. He's got some of the best ball skills I've ever seen. He has a knack for making the play when the play needs to be made. Some more in-depth stats that just, I think, paint the picture a little bit more of how special he is as an offensive weapon. He had a career drop percentage of 2.3%. He does not drop the football. And he doesn't drop it in contested catch situations either. In his career, he was thrown 30 contested catch balls. He caught 19 of them, 63% at 6 foot, 180 pounds. He is strong with his hands, and it's his ball skills and his ability to contort his body like I haven't seen many people do helps him make those plays in contested catch situations. He's also a demon with the ball in his hands. 47 missed tackles forced in his NFL career, or college career. 756 yards after catch. An NFL passer rating. When he was targeted in college as a receiver, passers had a 137.8 NFL passer rating. The highest you can get is 158.3. That is a perfect passer rating. He also had 21 plays over 20-plus yards, which was first in the National Football League. And there's not a route that he can't run. Like, shout out to the people that made this graphic. On the left side, you see the success by route. Only an 83% chance when he runs a go ball. A 66% success rate when he runs a corner. 80% when he runs a post. 100% when he runs an out. 84.2% when he runs a dig. 86.6% when he runs a curl. 80% when he runs a comeback. 100% success rate in the flat. 91.7% success rate other routes besides that. And on a slant, 86% and 100% on a screen pass. He has a full route tree, and he doesn't even run them all that much. And that's why I think that he has another level to tap into as a wide receiver. When you watch the tape, he moves like Justin Jefferson. He really, really does. His ability to create separation by getting into the blind spot, just the motion and the body movements. He looks like Justin Jefferson. And he's a playmaker like Odell Beckham Jr. When the ball's in the air, it's his. The difficulty, when it comes to degree of difficulty for catches, he could do that. Taking a slant route to the house, he could do that. I said it earlier. My first NFL comp for him was Odell Beckham Jr. I tweeted that out back in January. I got ripped for it on Twitter, and now people are talking about him as clearly the number one player and receiver in this class. He has a knack for making a play when it needs to be made, like Odell Beckham Jr. against the Lions, or against the Ravens, or against the Cowboys. Anytime he made magic happen when it had to happen. And to be honest with you, I actually think Travis Hunter is a better wide receiver than he is corner. And I think he's the best corner in this class by far. That is how special I believe he is as a wide receiver. So much so, if he said, I just want to play wide receiver in the National Football League, I still think he's a top 2 player in this class. I'd probably put Abdul Carter ahead of him just because edge, I think, is a little bit more important. And Carter being a first-year player off the edge. But Travis Hunter, I don't want people to think that this guy is average at everything. And no, this is a generational talent. And I think he'd be a top 2 player in this class if he just played wide receiver. But he also plays corner, and he's also the best corner in this class. And when you talk about the Giants, they need another playmaker on offense, and they might need another corner really, really soon. I thought he grew drastically from 2023 to 2024 when it comes to strictly being a cover corner guy. The pass breakups, double. He didn't give up nearly as many yards. I think he only gave up 1 touchdown this year, gave up like 4 touchdowns last year. And he just looked a lot more sticky in coverage. He looked a lot more confident, and he looked like a guy that could settle in to be an elite corner in the National Football League. He had a PFF coverage grade of 90.7 this year. 4 interceptions to 11 pass breakups. Only allowed 22 receptions on 40 targets. And he only allowed 212 yards and just 1 touchdown. And the thing that I like about him on that side of the ball, he continues to get better on defense. And you could see it by the stats that are on screen right now. His overall grade went from a 74.8 to an 88.2 as a coverage guy. His passer rating, when he was targeted in coverage in 2023, he had an allowed passer rating of 89.7. This year, 39.9. The coverage grade, 90.3. The zone coverage grade, 86.8. The man coverage grade, 83.0. He's a special corner, and I think he's one of the best in press coverage in the class. He was targeted 23 times in press coverage in 2024. Only allowed 10 catches and 0 touchdowns. And had 3 interceptions and 3 pass breakups. An 11.2 passer rating allowed. That's not a typo. An 89.6 coverage grade. If the Giants take him, I want to see them get back to being a press coverage team because Paulson Adebo, press coverage guy. Deonte Banks, press coverage guy. Travis Hunter, press coverage guy. You would be doing yourself a disservice as a team if you don't at least try to play Travis Hunter both ways. There was one thing I wanted to say about him as an offensive player. I'll tell you that after we read this quote from Todd McShay. Hunter is one of the most dynamic players in college football history. The Heisman Trophy winner had incomparable production on both sides of the ball last year, seeing 530 snaps and 121 targets at wide receiver for 96 grabs, 1,258 yards, and 15 scores, and 776 snaps on defense with 4 INTs. His NFL fit and usage will depend on the team that drafts him. The most common feedback I've received from NFL teams is that he should focus primarily on playing corner and a feature player as a receiver in specially designed packages. However, I think he's more advanced as a receiver and can make a greater impact offensively early in his career, especially if he lands on a team like the Patriots, who have a much greater need at receiver. Regardless of how a team deploys him, he's a uniquely gifted prospect with rare stamina. Todd McShay rated him a 95 out of 100 on his player scale. Yeah, he thinks he's one of the best players he's ever graded. And on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, they gave his separation skills a 2, ball skills a 1, big playability a 1, and his compete level a 2. I think that should be a 1. This guy played through nasty injuries at Colorado. Something I wanted to say about his wide receiver skills. He was in the 92nd percentile in success versus man coverage, 97th percentile in success rate versus zone coverage, and 97th percentile in success rate against press coverage. You can't cover this guy. And if you put him next to Malik Neighbors, the NFC East better add some new DBs, because I'll tell you this much. Those Eagles rookies, they're not going to be good enough. Pick a player for me. If the draft goes Cam Ward and Abdul Carter, 1 and 2, that's what I am anticipating, and you were Joe Schoen with the number 3 overall selection, who would you pick? Is it Travis Hunter? Is it Shedeur Sanders? Sound off for me. Got a couple more thoughts in a second. First, get your Malik Neighbors jersey today. Go to chatsports.com/neighbors. Support our superstar receiver. He's going to be unreal this year. I think this time next year he's a top 5 wide receiver, and you're going to want his jersey before that. I think Shedeur Sanders can be a successful NFL quarterback. I know that Travis Hunter is going to be one of the best players in this class, and I know he has the potential to be a Hall of Famer. And I know that's rich to say when someone hasn't played a snap in the NFL, but he just does things that we haven't seen people do before. And he is a dominant football player. If that means corner, that means receiver, that means both. Whatever he chooses, he's going to be at the top of the league in both of that. This is kind of my read on the number 3 pick at this point. Do the Giants want a quarterback at 3? The Giants operated like a team this offseason that was not in love with the idea of drafting a quarterback at 3, or they didn't think the guy that they wanted would be there because you offered $100+ million for Matthew Stafford and the 34th overall pick. You did everything you could to sign Aaron Rodgers. That tells me you don't really love or know what's coming in the NFL draft. Then you got to ask the question, is Shedeur Sanders a franchise guy? Again, I think he can be a good to really good quarterback in this league. I don't know if he is a franchise guy. And that doubt makes me doubt the idea of picking him. The Giants need more blue chippers. You got Malik Neighbors. You got Dexter Lawrence. I'm willing to say Brian Burns is a blue chipper. Andrew Thomas is a blue chipper. Travis Hunter, he's a blue chipper. I have more confidence in Travis Hunter living up to his potential than Shedeur Sanders. And my next thought is, does Shedeur play year 1? Because if he doesn't play year 1, hopefully Russ plays and he wins a lot of games. You're going to throw him into the fire year 2, and you're going to pass on the idea of getting Travis Hunter this year and then just not drafting one next year who could play in the rookie year, and then you'd have Shedeur Sanders on a 4-year deal instead of a rookie on a 5-year deal. Part of the reason I was so all in on drafting Shedeur is because I think he's pro-ready, and I think he's closer to his ceiling. His floor is extremely high, and I thought the Giants might need a rookie quarterback to play. But you went out and you signed Russ and you signed Jameis. I know they're 1-year deals, but if you're good with Russ this year, probably bringing him back. If you're bad with Russ this year, you're probably picking at the top of the draft in a good spot to get a quarterback. Long way to go. More time for me to try to articulate my thoughts and figure out what I'm thinking, because I go back and forth all the time. But I think right now I am Travis Hunter over Shedeur. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up. and let's go G-Men.